guten Abend, Tmimim. Good Yom Tov. I should speak in English or Yiddish? Good. So my English will be the Milse de Bdichuse of, and then Yosef Be'emes as a head of English at Shenzhen Good. On the way here, I prepared a few things from the Rebbe, from the Alter Rebbe, from the Rebbe Rashab, Yom Yisiyas Chetmimim, connected with Geula Moshiach. But on the way here, while I'm looking for a parking, I was thinking something very interesting. The Rebbe is covering in the Siches everything, right? Nigle, Chsides, Haloche, Medrash, Pirkei Oves. Who is not using Pirkei Oves of the Rebbe? Agodah Shel Pesach is one of the most acceptable Perushim for Agodah Shel Pesach, even by the Misnagdim, not officially. But the kosher Misnagdim that they know where to look. The Rebbe is making a Siyum Maseches, a Siyum Hashas. He's taking the old Sugi at the beginning of the Masechta, the end of the Masechta, he's connecting, and then he's bringing also the Yeina Shel Torah, and he's not leaving us with even one part not clear. When the Rebbe is talking Halacha, even usually the Rebbe is sending to Rabbonim, and when the Rebbe is talking Halacha in Yonim, it's clear like Kashemesh Batzohoraim. Very clear. The Rebbe is saying a Rashi Siche. I lived with the Rashi Siches. Because in my father's home, soll sein gesund und stark, the ganze Leben given around Rashi. You know my father's Sefer, Shaila Moiro, and Rashi. So the ganze Stub is given around Rashi. And when the Rebbe came out with the Siches, he given by my father like, I can't even describe. And my father got many oiros from the Rebbe about the avodah of Rashi. I remember once when I came here to the Rebbe as a bocher, and my father was printing a new Chumash, no connection with Shaila Moiro Perush and the Shinui Girsois, just for Talmidim in the Chadorim, in the Talmud Torah, with Tziyurim and other stuff. And I was giving Rabbi Groner the new Chumash to give in to the Rebbe. A few hours later, Rabbi Groner was looking for me in 770, and he says, the Rebbe gefragt, there is nothing new about the Arbeit, was der Tate tut, mit die Shinui Girsoes, mit die Dos, als man schon gebracht hat Chumash, etwas Neues mit dem, the Rebbe was always pushing him. And so when the Rebbe is giving us a Rashi Siche, you know what Rashi wants, and the Rebbe is breaking every sugya. One subject, that even on this subject, the Rebbe is talking very clear, so many inyonim, unlimited times, and unlimited inyonim, Moshiach v'Geula inyonim, still so many gray areas. The Yechinikes, those that are not saying Yechi, jeder einer can find so many mekeres in the Rebbe Siches that ich bin gerecht und ich bin gerecht, and I'm not going into this subject now, don't worry. But I think there is a reason for that. Bederech Hefsher. It's like once I was thinking, or I was listening to a Mashpia once, I don't even remember, that Yom Gimel des Liches, there is no reason officially for the Verbringen, right? But gemacht a Verbringen in Lubavitch, und wird nicht gesagt, wird nicht megale given the Sibbe. And maybe this is the Sibbe that we should know that we don't need a reason for a Verbringen, right? Maybe the same thing al derech hefsher by Moshiach v'Geula. The Rebbe, it's not that he left us, means the siches of the Rebbe in a way that we should don't really know what the Rebbe wants or what the Rebbe said. This is what we have to do. Not only to have a Moshiach Geula shiur once a week, and then the rest of the week I'm busy with other stuff. Nigle, Chsides, Essen, Trinken, Lehavdil, v'chulu, alle inyonim. No, everything in my life should be like thinking, a Geula way of thinking. Talking, a Geula way of talking. Acting, a Geula way of acting. Because this is who am I, das ist was ich bin, and the Rebbe wants we should be making the world to Moshiach in a way, and the only way to be making the world for Moshiach is when the world is ready for Moshiach. I remember, but the Taluche, until today, everyone is going Taluche, Shavuos, Simchas Torah, Pesach, we're going Taluche. On the way back, we were standing in front of the library. I'm talking about the years that the Rebbe was with the Rebbetzin before he went to 770. But when the Rebbetzin, before this Talkus, was coming Yom Tov to the library, the Rebbe was coming out. I don't remember how many years, but I remember 1 year. He came back from Borough Park. Others came back from Flatbush, from the Lower East Side. Others from much far away. But the Rebbe, of Givol, the Rebbe wanted to go out from the library in the front door and to be mekabel ponim all the bochim and anash that went b'shlichus of the Rebbe to be mechazek other people in other shuls and chazering sichas and dancing with people and to dance means and the Rebbe was mechazek with the hand. But the Rebbe probably wanted to be outside when the majority of the crowd is there already. So I remember 1 year that the Rebbe Tzilchai Mushke was opening a little bit, moving the vilon, how do you say, the curtain, for a second or two, looking and seeing that there is a nice crowd, but she was waiting for another almost 10 minutes, and then she opened a little bit more. We saw her face for maybe 3-5 seconds, and 2 minutes later, the Rebbe came out. The crowd was much bigger, and the Rebbe was me'oided, mekabel ponim given. Maybe this is also what the Rebbe is talking about, like the world is ready, the world is העולם מוכן, and מדף נור אפין and the Egun, putzing the kneplach, כל מיני עניונים of polishing, like finishing, it's almost there, נור אפין and the tir. The only way to do it is not by only learning and having knowledge about the halachos of Moshiach. Some bochrim and anash are geoinim and bekim muflogim in every part of what connected with Geula Moshiach. But the Rebbe wants should not be only a knowledge thing, should be a way of living, a way of thinking. A bocher from Oletere once went to Shliches. There is bochim from here going to Terasemes to Shliches every year? Okay, so one bocher that went to Terasemes to Shliches, first Friday afternoon, what is he doing after Seder? מבצועים. מחנה יהודה, תחנה מרכזית, בן יהודה, all places that you do מבצועים outside. Now, he's a bocher that the Hebrew that he knows, it's from the Gemara, from the Chumash. He knows Lashon Kodesh more than Hebrew. So he stops an Israeli guy and he says to him, hey, taniach tefillin. So the guy doesn't want to do tefillin and he's telling him, taniach li. In Hebrew, taniach li means leave me alone. So he's starting to do tefillin with him because he says, taniach li. Then he screams on him and he says, ta'azov oti, leave me alone. Again, another way. So he says, oh, he's probably talking the Torah way. Ozev ta'azov imoy. So he's doing tefillin with him and kerishme, and the guy did tefillin, and the bocher that maybe one day the story will exist, did mivtzoim. Because this is what the Rebbe wants. I have my way of thinking, a Geula way. I see in the other person already the tefillin on him. This is why he was matzliach in the story that exists in many ways, because I see the lichtigkeit that in the other Jew, and the lichtigkeit in the Welt bechlal. This is the way how I think, how I see things, how I talk to other people, how I approach other people, and myself also. Because it's a main thing in life. You can't smile to other people when you are really not happy in you. Oh, but it's another subject. Once, I was in a Sheva Broches in Williamsburg. I have a chavrusi in Williamsburg, a Satmar Chosi, that we're learning every week, Orachaim. This is like the condition that we have, Orachaim, and it's very Gishmak. And Chassidus, officially Tanya, but Rabbi Siches and Tifei Inyonim in connected with Parshas Shavua or with any Yom Tev. Through him, Baruch Hashem, I have a whole group that we're learning together, officially, not officially. So when he's having a simcha, he's inviting me. Once by a Sheve Broches, he had a batchen. You know what's a batchen? Someone that makes jokes, but the Ungarische, the jokes that they say, it's not just jokes. It's with Teuchen. Geschmack Inyonim, with Musa Raskel, to the Chosen, to the Kal, whatever. So he saw me in front of him. I was like, swallowing every word. And he says, hey, Rabbi Yid, sein Tira Lubavitcher? Are you a Lubavitcher? I said, yes. He said, can I ask you something? Why don't you sleep in the sukkah? And I started to tell him the famous Sikha of the Rebbe, Nigel Chassidus. He said, no. Let me tell you a practical reason. Stell sich vor, just think, what would be if Chabad would sleep in the sukkah? You would have huge sukkahs in Manhattan, in Ben Yehuda, in Tel Aviv, with beds, and people from Chabad will go outside. Did you sleep in the sukkah already today? Did you sleep in the... Baruch Hashem, you don't sleep in the sukkah. So I said to the guys around me in the table, I'm proud tonight here in Williamsburg that this is the way our Satmar Chosid is thinking about Lubavitch. That if they would sleep in the sukkah, they will make sure everyone should sleep in. He made a joke. But I took it very seriously to know wer bin ich. So there's nothing that I will do and I will not share with another Jew, because I see by him the sukkah. I see by him the lulev. What did the Rebbe did? Now we have a Elem ve'Esther that we don't see the Rebbe yet. Miyad, we're going to see the Rebbe in the Isgalus, and we're going with the Rebbe to the Beis HaMikdash. But for now, the Gashmias, we don't see the Rebbe. The last Sukkahs, when Reb Meir Aligol Sholem came to the Rebbe and asked for the Arba Minim, and the Rebbe always giving them to give everyone to be Mezake, to do the Broche, the first day of Sukkahs, and the Rebbe tells them, I think them Loshen, Hein will ich allein geben. Today I will give myself. And the Rebbe stood, I think, I was here. I think until 10 or 20 after 3 in the afternoon. And the Rebbe Zalman Guraya was bringing a chair to the Rebbe to sit, because the Rebbe was suffering from something in the foot, and we was able to see it. Some of the people, I didn't see it with my eyes, but some people saw it. The Isurim that the Rebbe had from something in the feet. It was very, the Rebbe hat gesagt, ich will stehen bis der letzte wird herübergehen. I will stand until the last one will go over. And Reb Leibel asked, I think Reb Leibel asked her, when hat man da? And it was already in the afternoon. And before Shachis, and the Rebbe hat gesagt, heint. Today. Wird gerecht, Reb Nachman? Yeah. Reb Nachman said more things that the Rebbe said. This is one of them. But I don't know the others. Reb Nachman knows that saying about. It's good to know. But I take this day of the first day of Sukkot, and the one that was standing in front of me was a French guy, Tzarfati, not a Shemer Torah Mitzvahs probably, because he didn't know the broch, and the Rebbe made with him the 2 broches. The Rebbe didn't say the Hashem, but like the Rebbe did Mivtzoyim with him. Then later on I hear that more than one. The Rebbe was making last Sukkot that the Rebbe gave us a schus to be with him, and he's teaching us that this is Lubavitch. And I'm a Rebbe of Lubavitch, and this is our Rebbe today, and this is who you are. It's not about ich tu azei, and I'm thinking this way, and today is like that. It's one way of thinking, a geuladik way of thinking. So again, to go back to the beginning, it's not about a shiur, Moshiach, ugeule once a week that you're having and it's perfect. It's about to live with that 24/7, 365 days, because this is the only way to bring to the Gilui. So we mentioned before that tonight is the Yom Tov of all Tmimim, Yom Yazdus Tomchet Tmimim. So I want to bring a Sikha of the Rebbe from Simchas Oishane Rabbe, Tovshin Mem Gimel. A shtikl Sikha. And the Rebbe said, it's famous, the Sikha of the Rebbe Rashab, that the Rebbe Rashab said that Tov Reish Samech Aleph Simchas Torah connected with his Yazdus Tomchet Tmimim. about the famous line of Kol hayoytze lemilchemes beis David, get Christus koisev leishtoi, oilo maze, that, and the Rebbe Rashab said by the Sikha that the tachlis and the goal, the matore of his yazdus to chetmim by him, is to create an army of Chayole beis David. They should fight the milchemes beis David. They should be neir lehoir bechol ha'olam kuloi, and they will be mechazek the emune in geulo ha'amitis v'ashlema al yedei Moshiach tzidkeinu bizman de ikves Meshiche, that then in the time of ikves Meshiche will be cherfu ikves, will be a situation of some people cherfu ikves Meshichecho. Means, says the Rebbe, that some people doesn't want we should scream Moshiach now, the Rebbe's Loshen. Some people doesn't want we should scream Moshiach now, even if they themselves, that people against Moshiach now, like the Welt, they know exactly that according to Chazal, according to Meforshim, at the time of Moshiach now, but don't scream it. And the tafkid of Chayole beis David, Tmimim, that are loichem, milchemes beis David, is to do it. To be megale in the world, Moshiach tzidkeinu, to be mechazek the emunah in Moshiach tzidkeinu, and this is what the Rebbe said. And then the Rebbe concludes in the Sikha that because the Rebbe Rashab announced, and he was megale, that he is the meyased umaymid, the army of Chayole beis David, and they should fight milchemes beis David, David Malko Meshicho, and through this will come the Geulo Amitis V'Ashlemo through Moshiach Tzidkeinu. So you see the strong connection between the Rebbe Rashab to David HaMelech, David Malko Meshiche. And because all these inyonim are being nimshach and mitbatzim, איך אומרים, being done, they werden giton through the Talmidim of the Rebbe Rashab and Talmidei Talmidov until today, you guys. So this is in a oifen of ma zaroi b'chaim afhu b'chaim, and like the Pasuk says about Yankov Avinu and the Medrash, and that he is the Nosi, and Nosi is nitzoitzoi shel Yaakov Avinu, and through the Aved of Chayole beis David we are being poel Moshiach Tzidkeinu bepoel mamesh. And especially by Tmimim, says the Rebbe, through the connection between Nigel the Ter and Pnimius HaTer, because the Rebbe Rashab's Iker Chidush in Yeshivas Temchet Tmimim is by that Nigel without Chassidus doesn't go, Chassidus without Nigel doesn't go. And this is the Sikh of Ishane Rabbe, Tov Shimem Gimel. I heard, I think in the name of Rabbi Yisrael Noyach in Brinwa, Rabbi Yisrael Noyach HaGodl, that he said, Atomim that thinks that he doesn't have the koyach to do what the Rebbe Rashab is expecting him to do. The Rebbe Rashab, he decided, steht der Loschen, zergewalgert 10 Jahre to choose which Neshama will be bis Moshiach in Tomchet Mimim. So he decided that all of us, we will be part of Tomchet Mimim. Means, we are, if we're talking Emes Digeret, we know ourselves, right? So we have the same Yetzirore like a Belzer Yeshiva Bocher. I'm not saying Lehavdil, by Yidin sagt man nicht Lehavdil. A Gerer Yeshiva Bocher, a Litvischer Yeshiva Bocher, a Ponovitscher Yeshiva Bocher. We are like having same challenges, but we are Tmimim. The Rebbe, the Friedricher Rebbe, I don't know if the story is in the time that he was a Menayel Poel of Tomchet Mimim or already the Rebbe. But once he asked Reb Chatzke Fagin, the maskir, to tell all the bochim of Tomchet Mimim to go out to the front, Chotzer, and he wants to speak to all the Tmimim. So a bunch of Tmimim, everybody, the Rebbe geht reden. They were standing 3 lines, and the Reb Chatzke went into the Friedricher Rebbe and he says, Tmimim sei warten, Tmimim are ready. Friedricher Rebbe comes out with his hat and capote, and he looks on the eyes of all the bochim, all Tmimim, for maybe a minute or 2. And then he said, Tmimim, And he went into his room. Spiel was verbringen later on, and they was trying to explain was der Rebbe gewollt, was der Friedrich Rebbe gewollt. Of course, we should know who we are. There is a sikh of the Friedrich Rebbe that he's talking about a normal person, a normal human being, even al-Havdil Agoy, is asking himself from time to time, wer bin ich? Means, am I in the right business? My investments are in the right places? You know, was once a professor, a Chassidish professor. So, in Israel, we call it a professor המפוזר, the zufleugener professor. Why? Because many times, or maybe most of the times, the professors are geoinim. They can give a speech, and wow, and they can make כל מיני patents, and they can create things that can run a whole country. But mitzad levushim, shoes, or whatever, they can go to work to give a speech with one shoe blue, one shoe black. That's zufleugen. So once, a Hasidic professor that was going every morning to the mikveh before the evening, but he was very worried. Meile, when I'm outside, I'm talking to people, I know, ich weiß wer ich bin, and ich weiß wer du bist. I know who I am, and I know how you are, because I have my jacket. He have even a stickel geviri as an initial, and is Rosh Teves of the name, and the arbel, wie sagt man, and the sleeves. So I'm not going to be confused between me and other people. Ich bin ich, and du bist du. But when I'm going to the mikveh, and I'm going out, no bgodim, so maybe I will sometimes be confused between me and other people. How I know, who am I? But he was a genius, a professor. So he hab sich an Amtzoy, and he took a red string, and he tied it to the left finger, the little finger of the left foot. And he says, the one that goes out from the water with the little string in the left little finger of the left foot, it's me! Geoines, huh? But once the mikveh was like a Yerushalayim mikveh, gishmak, clear, water, a little hot, Erev Shabbos, and he was sitting too long. And the string went out from his finger, and it was going into another person's finger. And they both go out from the water, and he sees the other person, and sagt, ich weiß wer du bist, aber wer ich bin, weiß ich nicht. I know who you are, but I don't know wer bin ich. Sagt the Friedrich, this is not part of the Friedrich Rebbe Siche. Sagt the Friedrich Rebbe, a Chassid also should ask himself from time to time, wer bin ich? And the Rebbe, the Friedrich Rebbe said right away, the answer is obvious. Ich bin a Chassid Chabad. But he said, the Friedrich Rebbe, that to say it is very easy. But to understand what you say, ich bin a Chassid Chabad, Chochmo, Bino, Das. Means I'm planning my life. Every action, every machshove, dibur u'maiseh of mine are planned in a way of Shulchan Aruch, you know. And this is what the Rebbe wants in Moshiach v'Geulah. We should really think Moshiach way. Practically speaking, we see many negative things around us. In yeshiva, in the dining room, sometimes in the chavrusa, sometimes in the mashpia, sometimes in the fabrenges. So many, not perfect things. But if a bocher, let's give an example of Letere, because we are here tonight. A bocher comes to himself by Tezvov Elul, and he says, it's tonight, the Yom Yisrael is Tumchet Mimim. I'm going to make a cheshbon nefesh between me and Tumchet Mimim. I'm not here for next year. Many people are coming to Letere for shlichus, and it's very good. But I'm not here because I need shlichus. I'm here because this is my life now. I'm a Tomim. So Reb Yisrael Noach said, when a Tomim doesn't think that he has the ability, he has the koyach to really be matzliach, he should remember that Tomim is begimatria. How much is the gematria of Tomim? Very fast. You know what happened once? See, when I'm a businessman that was looking for accountant, and was a guy, not Jewish, that everyone said about him, he is very quick in math, in cheshbon, in math. And he needed someone quick. So he took him to work. The first day, he goes around and he says, where is the guy that is very quick? He says, I'm the guy. So he says, can I give you a test, like a surprise targil? He says, please, you are the boss. He says, how much is 100 times 88 minus 7 divided by 44? Immediately, without even thinking, he said, 27. And he said, but it's not true. He said, but was quick enough? So quick is not enough. You need to be quick and correct. So back to the subject. Please remind me. Tomim is 490. Right? Pach shemen. How do you spell pach shemen? Pei Langer Chof. Not mitaches. Pach mitaches is a garbage can. Pach is pei Langer Chof. Shemen together, pach shemen is 490. Says Rabbi Kalman Atomim should remember with all the challenges, with all whatever I'm going over, and it's not so easy, and be'emes the dining room might be sometime that I don't want to go in, and might be this and might be else. Oh, ich bin a pach shemen chosum b'choisomo shel kohen gadol, because I'm Atomim. I need to ask the Me'argen when to finish the shiur, because I need to know what to put in the shiur, because I have more inyonim. When is the time to finish, please? Huh? Oh, 11 minutes. Okay.
If people want to leave, they can leave.
No problem. But we need Akboles. The Rebbe says, I just said a Maimer yesterday in Shul, Mides is Meloshin, Medido ve'Akbole. So Mides is very, very good, but still, with Medido ve'Akbole. So, Midaf Leben mit der Zeit, right? Alter Rebbe said Midaf Leben mit der Zeit. The brother of the Alter Rebbe explains to the Chassidim that Leben mit der Zeit means with Parshat Shavua, but we have the Rebbe Siches that not only Parshat Shavua, every Yom the Pagre, anything that is happening during the week, special, it's because it's our role for us and we need to know how to act according to this day. So tonight is Tezvov Elul. It's already in Elul. This week we're going to have Chai Elul. What's the Yesoides Dike Maimer of Elul that any Tomim in the world and any Anash, even if he's 99 years old, we should all live until forever. But Elter Chassidim, Younger Chassidim, there is one Maimer that we will always learn again and again. Beside the Maimorim that are based on this Maimer, right? The Ani Ledoid in Daf Lamed Beis in Likutei Torah. Who is not learning at least once in Chodesh Elul? Every year you can see a new light on this Maimer, a new diuk through the Rebbe's Maimorim and through Yukvetching in the Maimer. It's a Maimer, an unlimited Maimer in Eichus. I want to read a few lines from this Maimer connected with the subject, with the line that we are talking tonight, that this is the way how we have to live. Geula u'Moshiach. That not only to have a Moshiach shiur, but the way of Machshov Dibur U'Maaseh that we have should be this way. So after the Alter Rebbe is asking the Shaila of why is it Yemoi Sachoil Yemei Elul, and he's bringing the union of Yud Gimel Midas Rachamim, so then should be Yom Tov, and then he's bringing the Amelech Basoda Moshel, and then he's bringing the union of Yud Gimel Midas Rachamim again, that the first is the Keil, and Keil Hashem Vayoyer Lonu. A ganze Arich is by the beginning of the Maimer. I'm reading the Alter Rebbe's Loshen. The Lochen, and you know what the Rebbe is Medayek in Maimorim, in a Maimer, in a Maimorim, that Tzemach Tzedek was beside the Likutei Torah, and it's Bediuk in Daf Lamed Beis, like the lave of Avodas HaTshuva, the lave of what we have to do before Rosh Hashanah. Velochen Nikru Yisrael Meloshin, Lochen Nikru Yisrael. Yisrael is Meloshin Sar Keil. The Yud is what says in Iyov, Perek Aleph, Kocho Yase Iyov Kol HaYomim, means Bismidus, the Yud is Moire Al Asmode, ופירוש שבחינס קהיל הוא שר ומוישל בקרבוי, דהיינו שיש בכל נפש מישראל ניצוץ אלוהיקוס ממוש, המחיה נפשו אלוהיקיס ומוישך בטיבוי למיילו לא אויר באויר החיים, למסור נפשו אלוהי וסבורך, והוא למעלו מן החוכמה ודעת שבנפשו. Many ways to explain this way, even just in a practical way, because בסייכל, בטעם ודעס, the Rebbe Shlomo created me a guf gash in the shome beguf gashmi, in oilem azeh gashmi, maybe to have like ruchnias v'gashmi, to got in some light. So my mother used to say, Oleh Sholem, you can eat a good meal an hour and a half. Talk about the food, not even 2 minutes. Means, yeah. כי על ידי החוכמה והדס לא יהיו מעסיק בחינו זו לבטל ולהפקיר את עצמי וכל וכל בשבילו יסבורך. Because the Rebbe wants me to live in Olam Hazeh Agashmi. So the Istaivers, like, I like to say this story, Reb Zushe, new partisan, Reb Zushe Bilimovsky. The Rebbe sends every 2 years 6 shluchim to Melbourne, Australia, to YG. Every year, every 2 years, right? Every 2 years? No, every year 6. Every year 6. But the Rebbe told them to go to Eretz Yisrael, to stop in every Lubavitch yeshiva. Talking about the olden days, it was only 3 or 4 Lubavitch yeshivas. And the Rebbe gave them mashke, or I think after Pesach, the Rebbe gave them wine, and they should verbringen, they should chazer siches of the Rebbe from the verbringen. Reb Zushe decided he came to the airport to pick them up together with another few Askonim. When I was a child, when I was a bocher, the taxis in Eretz Yisrael, most of them, the majority of the taxis was a driver plus 7 seats, means 1 next to the driver, and 2 benches of 3 each, 3 people in each bench, like a station wagon. So Reb Zushe said immediately to the Askonim, I know why the Rebbe decided to send 6 bochim and not 7, and not 8, over there, and not 5. Because the Rebbe knew that Zushe needs to go with them to all the yeshivas to Fabring. So the Rebbe and the Rebbe knows that the taxis in Eretz Yisrael are from 7 people. It should be placed for Zushe. And he decided that he has to go with them to every place. Then he came to the Yerushalayim, and they needed a sapir. You don't go to a restaurant, number 1, because you don't, right? Even if it's under the OK kosher. Aber chsidische bochim, I'm only get with the family, aber al kol ponim, sie nicht gewinnt die koschere Restaurant so viel. Sie gewinnt bei die Lametz, bei die, ich weiß nicht wen. So he was knocking on the door of Mrs. Rebbetzin Halperin. Reb Shmuel Elazar Halperin, his wife, Rebbetzin Yocheved Halperin. She was a good friend of my mother, Aleim Hasholem both. He was knocking on the door with 6 bochim, and he says, listen, we're going to the Koisel. We're coming back 2.5 hours. Can we have a supper, please? It's shluchim of the Rebbe. And she says, of course, yes. She didn't have much at home then, and she went to the grocery, she bought, and also for dessert, ice cream. Reb Zushe is coming back, Rabbi Alperin is sitting with them, they're making a whole meal and a fabringen, and Reb Zushe is there. But at the end, she's giving everyone also the ice cream. Reb Zushe macht a broche und rest. So one of the bochim wanted to kitzeln him, and he said, Zushe? Reb Zushe, Taives? So immediately, without even thinking, he said, by Sheshis and Bereshis, when the time for the Taives came to come down to this world, they didn't want to come down, because they said, everything needs avodas habirurim. And who knows how to make avodas habirurim? Only Chsidim. But Chsidim will not eat Taives. And therefore, they're not going to be really misbarer in the real way. So they don't want to come down. So the Rebbe promised the Taives that before Moshiach will be one chosid that will eat a shtickle ice cream, and because Moshiach has to come already. So ich darf es mekayim sein. This is what Reb Zushe was. Kol ponim, so כי על ידי החוכמה והדס לא יהיו מעסיק בחינה זו לבטל ולהפקיר את עצמי בכל וכל בשבילו יסבורך. וזהו בונים אתם להשם אלוהיכם. כי ברו קרו דאבוה הוא שנכלל ברצונו שלו ובלי שום טעם ודס כמו מבחינת רגל שבוטל לגבי ראש ואין לו רוצני שלא יכלל, וזהו בטל רצונכם מפני רצונו שבכדי שיוער לאודום מבחינת פנימיוס רצונו יסבורך צריך לבטל כל רצונו סוף שלא יהיה לו רוצן אחר כלל. אל תראה בדוזן שלא יהיה לו רוצן כלל, שלא יהיה לו רוצן אחר. I have a רוצן, I have Taives, but same Taives like the Rebishter, same רוצן like the Rebishter. I'm thinking in a Moshiach way. I want to conclude. Amidaf leben mit der Zeit. I'm going to skip something. In a negative way, we are always very quick geoinim in to know how to judge ourselves, how to say chonish dikeches. We are very smart in to say what we cannot do. You know, once a bocher came to his mashpia, a famous mashpia in Kfar Chabad, and he says, Mashpia, I have a big problem. It's the beginning of the year, I have good chavruses, I'm trying to understand Nigle, I'm trying to understand Chassidus, aber sie geht nicht, die Kopf ist verstoppt. And you know what? I'm very much mechaven 3 times a day in Shmoneh Esrei, in Ato Choinen Lodom Das, and sie helft nicht. Nothing. Like, Stück Lolz. So the Mashpia smiled and he said, maybe just start to be mechaven very much in Anoisen Lasech Vibino. He was thinking, as Shena Odom, the highest Darge, du wirst verstehen, du bist das Sechvi, wirst du auch nicht verstehen. So in a negative way, it's very easy. Ich bin a gar nicht, I'm a nobody. But to understand that we are Tmimim, like they screamed or the Friedrich Rebbe, Tmimim, and he went into his room. To understand the koyach that we have, that the Rebbe Rashab is telling us, he created Tomchet Mimim with us, with all the neshomas of all generations of Tomchet Mimim, because he wants to bring Moshiach, to spread the union of Mashiach now in the world, not only by saying Mashiach now, that it's very important, also by just seeing in every part of around us, by the Chavruse, by ourselves, siblings in the family, parents. Many times it's very difficult to see Lichtigkeit in people around us, in the yeshiva bechlal. And then we're deciding that now I saw a sikh of the Rebbe Rashab, through the Rebbe, the Friedrich Rebbe's Tmimim Inyan, through the Rebbe's Siches, through the Maimer of the Alter Rebbe, that it's not. Sometime I have, I said by the beginning, Kaveh Hashem, and then Vekaveh Hashem. This is what we need to do. That this is the way we should think always. And I want to finish with a very, very sweet story. A real story. Connected with the subject that we spoke about tonight. So my name is Kalman Weinfeld. Weinfeld is a Galician name, like a Galician is like Polish. And I have many cousins in Satmer, in Bobov, but most of them I don't know personally. They are like second cousins, third, seventh cousins. How do you say in English? Removed and removed. But they are all cousins. So listen to that. I came to be Menachem Ovel, the Butman family, when Reb Shmuel Butman Olav Sholem, Rabbi Butman, passed away, and one of the children tells me that when his father was in the hospital in Manhattan, he met a Bobover Chossi that his name is Ben Zion Weinfeld. He's probably your relative. Long story short, Rabbi Zion Weinfeld is my second cousin through him and through his wife, and I didn't know him. His wife is to my mother and he is to my father, second cousins. And he has a son, also a Bobover Chosid, that he was born with, a mum, lo aleinu, with a damage in his heart. And until around Bar Mitzvah time, he used to go to doctors and again to doctors. So he met more non-religious people than every other average Bobover Bocher, because a Lubavitcher Bocher will meet people in Mivtzoim. By them, they don't. So he, different from other Bochim in his Talmud Torah and then Yeshiva, he saw doctors. He decided, he's not a Lubavitcher Chosid, he's a Bobover Chosid. He decided that it's a shtichas that the Rebbe gave him, a little child. And he decided that every doctor is asking him first thing when he sees a new doctor, a new nurse or whatever, are you Jewish? When they said yes, he's not going to leave them alone until they do tefillin or Neros Shabbos, Arba Minim before Sukkot. Mamesh Mivtzoim, not as a officially Lubavitch, and this is what the Rebbe wants really. Every Yid should do Mivtzoim. A year and a half ago, they got a good besure that they can do, someone should help me, Ashtalat Lev. Heart transplant. To put a new heart, like to change his heart And then, Be'ezrat Hashem, for lying a good yarn. It's not poshut. They're going to put them in a sterile room that no one is allowed to go in, just one or two doctors or nurses, with, of course, covered all the way from top to bottom. And for 3 days and 3 nights, he's going to sleep because they have to wait until the heart should be niklat, should be absorbed in the body, and to see that everything is working, and only then they're going to close the body, and then he will stay for a few weeks in the hospital, and then the bocher tells his father, the bar mitzvah bocher, that comes out the 3 days of his life is not going to do the mitzvah of tefillin. He's a bar mitzvah bocher already. It's poto. Not only is poto, for him it's a mitzvah to go to sleep and to save his life, his own life, right? So it's not that he forgot to do tefillin. It's poto, and it's a shiur of him just to go and do the operation. But he says to his father, Lemaise, I'm not going to have the mitzvah of tefillin. Can you do me a favor, Tati? Every day that I'm sleeping with the operation, find someone that usually is not doing tefillin, put with them tefillin, like a new person that usually doesn't do it. Father never did mitzvah tefillin. It's not like him. It was very difficult for him, but what don't you do for such a child, for any child, but such a child that is going into an operation, it's very dangerous operation. And the Tati said, I will try my best, Bezrat Hashem. And he gave him, I don't know if a promise, or ishtadlus. First day was easy. Second day, not so easy, but he found someone. Third day, es geht nicht. And I know, Lubavitcher Chosid will go. It was difficult for him. I think one of the nurses, a non-Jewish, saw him like confused, and she asked him, and he said, I think she print like a sign in English, if you are Jewish and you didn't do tefillin, today come to this in the department, before Shkia, someone came and he did tefillin. He woke up. Baruch Hashem, the nituach, the operation was very behatzloche. He's home, he's in yeshiva back, but for a few weeks he was for recovering in the hospital. So with the wheelchair later on, walking, he was asking people to do tefillin. Once, a Saturday younger man from Williamsburg came to visit one of his relatives in the same department. And he sees a Galiciano bocher, a Polish bocher with payas, not Lubavitch, doesn't look Lubavitch. He's just doing tefillin, mitzvah tefillin with people. He didn't like it. You know, the famous letter of the Rebbe, that the Rebbe is answering all the shilas that they had against mitzvah tefillin. Very sweet, and again, like before, clear that the Rebbe is just not leaving anything with a question. Not al pi aloch and ashkof and everything, but it's not der derech. Why? So he was waiting until the bocher was by himself, and he's going to him and he says, Bocher, bist du a Lubavitcher Chosid? He said, maybe he's a Lubavitcher Chosid with payas, you know, some. Are you a Lubavitcher Chosid? He says, no. Why? I'm a Bobover. Oh, so why are you doing tefillin with Freie Menschen? So instead of answering him, he asked him, like a Yid, back a question. Rabbi Yid, can I ask you something? He said, please. Did you tefillin today already? And it was in the afternoon. He said, of course, I have a minyan in Williamsburg next to my house, a Satmer Shtibel, 7:30 every morning, and I did it this morning. So he said, why? Are you a Lubavitcher? This is who we are. And this is what the Rebbe wants from us in Inyone Geula Moshiach. Should not be a shelf of Inyone Geula Moshiach, a shiur once a week, and I'm using this to answer a misnaged, to say to someone that by Mivtzat Tefillin something about Moshiach. No! It's the way how I think, how I speak, how I'm acting. And then it's much easier to accept problems, because it's not a problem, it's a lichtigkeit that I have to reveal. It's all of a sudden the chavruse must much better because this is really my chavruse. All of a sudden the food is not so bad because it's Tomchet Mimim. It's not only, yes, should be good food in Tomchet Mimim, but it's about wer bin ich and what's my goal in life. Thanks for listening. Have a good Nacht. Bye bye.